Do you ever find yourself stuck in a loop, replaying a conversation from hours ago? Or maybe you lie awake at night, your mind racing with what-ifs about a decision you have to make tomorrow. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. You might be an overthinker, but what does that really mean? Is it just a personality quirk? Or is there something deeper going on in our brains? Today, we're diving into the psychology of people who overthink everything. We'll explore why we do it, what it does to us, and most importantly, how we can learn to quiet the noise and find some peace. Stick around, because this might just be the clarity you've been looking for. So, what exactly is overthinking? In psychology, it's often referred to as rumination. Think of it like a cow chewing its cud, repeatedly bringing up the same mouthful to chew on again and again. When we ruminate, we do the same thing with our thoughts. We get stuck on a particular problem, worry, or event, analyzing it from every possible angle, but without ever reaching a solution or a sense of closure. It's not the same as thoughtful problem solving. Problem solving is active and moves you toward a solution. Overthinking is passive and keeps you stuck in the problem. It's like being on a hamster wheel. You're expending a ton of mental energy, but you're not actually going anywhere. This cycle can be exhausting and often leads to more stress and anxiety, not less. Let's look at why our brains get caught in this loop. There are a few key psychological drivers. First, there's the illusion of control. Many overthinkers believe that if they just think about a problem long enough and hard enough, they can control the outcome or prevent something bad from happening. It's a way of trying to manage the inherent uncertainty of life. By replaying scenarios, we feel like we're doing something productive, like we're preparing for every possible negative outcome. The irony, of course, is that we can't control everything, and this constant mental gymnastics often just makes us feel more anxious and powerless. Another major factor is perfectionism. Perfectionists set incredibly high standards for themselves and are often terrified of making mistakes. For a perfectionist, every decision, no matter how small, feels monumental. What if I choose the wrong thing? What if it's not the absolute best choice? This fear of imperfection can lead to analysis paralysis, where you overthink a decision to the point that you can't make one at all. You get so lost in weighing the pros and cons of every tiny detail that you become frozen, unable to move forward. The desire to be perfect paradoxically prevents you from taking any action whatsoever. Past experiences also play a huge role. If you've been through a difficult or traumatic event, your brain might go into a state of hypervigilance. It's constantly scanning for threats and trying to prevent history from repeating itself. Overthinking becomes a misguided self-protection mechanism. Your mind thinks, if I can anticipate every possible danger, I can keep myself safe. While this comes from a place of wanting to protect you, it keeps you locked in a state of fear and anxiety, often reliving past pain instead of engaging with the present moment. This is particularly common for people who grew up in unpredictable environments where they had to constantly be on guard. So, we know what overthinking is and why it happens. But what are the actual consequences? Well, they're not great. Constant rumination is strongly linked to mental health challenges. It's a major risk factor for anxiety and depression. When you're always focusing on what could go wrong, your brain is in a constant state of fight or flight, flooding your body with stress hormones like cortisol. This chronic stress doesn't just impact your mind, it affects your physical health too. It can lead to headaches, digestive issues, and a weakened immune system. It drains your energy, making it hard to focus on your work, your relationships, and the things you actually enjoy. Overthinking also sabotages our decision-making. You'd think that more thinking would lead to better decisions, right? But research shows the opposite is often true. When we overanalyze, we can get bogged down in irrelevant details and lose sight of the bigger picture. This is known as decision fatigue. Your brain gets so tired from weighing endless options that it starts making impulsive or poor choices just to get it over with. Or, as we mentioned, you make no choice at all. This inaction can lead to missed opportunities and a deep sense of regret, which, ironically, gives you even more to overthink. It's a vicious cycle that can be incredibly difficult to break. But here is the good news. You are not doomed to be an overthinker forever. Your brain is flexible, and you can train it to develop new, healthier habits. The key is to shift from passive rumination to active problem-solving and mindful awareness. The first step is simply to notice when you're doing it. Awareness is everything. When you catch your mind starting to spin, just label it. Say to yourself, there I go. I'm overthinking again. This simple act of noticing creates a small space between you and your thoughts, reminding you that you are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them. Once you've noticed you're in the loop, you need to consciously redirect your attention. This is where mindfulness comes in. Try a simple grounding technique. Focus on your 5 senses. What are 5 things you can see right now? 4 things you can feel. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. This exercise pulls your mind out of the abstract world of what-ifs and plants it firmly in the reality of the present moment. The future you're worrying about doesn't exist yet, and the past you're replaying is over. All you ever truly have is right now. Another powerful strategy is to schedule your worry time. It sounds counterintuitive, but it works. Set aside a specific, limited period of time each day, say 15 minutes, dedicated solely to overthinking. During this time, you can worry, analyze, and ruminate to your heart's content. But when the timer goes off, you're done. If a worrisome thought pops up outside of your scheduled time, you can tell yourself, "Thanks for the reminder, brain, but I'll deal with that during my worry time later." This contains the overthinking and teaches your brain that it doesn't have to be on high alert 24/7. It gives you a sense of control over the process, rather than letting it control you. And finally, take action. Overthinking thrives on inaction. The longer you sit and think, the bigger and scarier the problem seems. Often, the best way to break the cycle is to take one small, imperfect step forward. Sending that email you've been drafting for 3 days, making that phone call, or just starting the first task on your to-do list. Action creates momentum. It proves to your brain that you can handle things and that the catastrophic outcomes you were imagining are usually just that, imaginations. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Each small action builds your confidence and shrinks your anxiety. Learning to manage overthinking is a journey, not a destination. It takes practice and patience with yourself. But by understanding the psychology behind it and using these practical strategies, you can begin to quiet the mental chatter. You can trade the exhausting hamster wheel of rumination for the peace and clarity of the present moment. You have the power to change your thought patterns and reclaim your mental energy for the things that truly matter. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this important topic. If this resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need to hear it. And do you forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you miss our future videos on psychology and self-improvement. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What S1 strategy you going to try to stop overthinking? Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.